Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you how to read off your standard instrument departure chart for Navigraph. So yeah, of course you're going to be at the airport you want for the charts on Navigraph. And you want to select your standard instrument departure or your SID. Let's just do the which one should we do? Is there an interesting one we can do? I don't think there really is for Manchester, to be fair. We'll just use this top one, I guess. So this is a chart, this is a SID, a standard instrument departure chart. This is all the information you need. It'll look very similar on every standard instrument departure chart wherever you go. Whatever the SID is, whatever the airport is, it'll look very similar. So we can see that it tells you, I don't know really why you need to know what Scottish control there is, but I think that's more of a VATSIM thing than a real life thing. But yeah, ignore the Scottish control thing. Airport elevation 257 feet. You're in the UK, so it will be in feet and not meters. Remember, Asia is meters, everywhere else is feet. That means the airport itself is 257 feet above sea level. You can see that your transition altitude is 5,000 feet. At 5,000 feet here, transition altitude there. 5,000 feet, that means you, after 5,000 feet, once you go above 5,000 feet, you must put your barometric pressure knob into standard mode. Otherwise, you could end up getting shown incorrect altitudes, which could affect you if you're on VATSIM or IVAO or any air traffic control network. And below 5,000 feet, you must have the correct QNH set, which will be told to you in the ATIS and the META. So what links to the transition altitude is the constraints. As you can see, you've got a black line from the runways, and that black line flows with a few waypoints. You've got a few headings, you've got a few bits and bobs here. The main things to take away are the headings, which are in degrees. In this case, you're going to be departing and then doing a turn to 298 degrees. And then you would go on, and then you'd have these blue things with lines are altitude constraints for the SID. You mustn't go above or below these constraints. You mustn't go above these constraints. And this is a good one actually, because here you can see that we have two altitudes, which makes it a bit more complicated. Essentially what this means is you can go anywhere between 2,500 and 5,000 feet. You're not limited to an altitude. You can go anywhere in between, but you can't go below 2,500 feet. You must be at 5,000 or below, but no further below than 2,500 feet. And that's what it means if it's got two altitudes. The lowest one is the lowest you can go. The highest one is the highest you can go. It's as simple as that. You can see that we've got a standard altitude here, just one. That means you've got to be at 5,000 feet for ASMIM, or no higher anyway. You can be lower if there's no lower restriction like here, but of course no higher at all. Then we've got this sort of like blacked out, greyed out line, and that has a heading as well. So that line is at 227 degrees. That's what that tells us. And you can see that as a three-letter thing, 3-letter word of pull, which means Papa Oscar Lima in a NATO format. And you can see that we've got a number underneath that, 112.1. That's essentially a VOR. The pole VOR is right there, where the triangle is here. That's where the pole VOR is. It's pointing to you where the VOR is. And that essentially means that if you want to, for like a visual reference, you can just tune in 112.1 for the pole VOR. So if you tune that into your aircraft, you will see the pole VOR show up. The needle will point to the VOR. And then, of course, this black line just flows through. You've got X or Bro, where the triangle is there. That's where the X or Bro waypoint is. And, it's just telling you where you need to be. So if you see X or Bro, you're probably going in the right direction. If you're at 259 degrees there, you're probably in the right direction even more. And then you see this bit here, this 3,500 for the MSA MCT VOR. That means you've got to be at 3,500 feet for the MCT VOR. And that's all that means. I mean, can't go any further than that. And then you can see this bit in a box. Usually these are warnings, but of course it will say warning if it is a warning. Do not climb above 5,000 feet until you instructed by ATC. Self-explanatory what that means. And then you see the warning below, no turns below 76 kilo. What that means is no turns below 7,600 feet, essentially. Yeah. Then you've just got little information here. These are always just information, really. You're going to get information on charts, usually self-explanatory. In the event of a missed approach on runway 5 right, ATC may instruct aircraft which have departed from runway 5 left to make a left turn in order to establish separation. So, if you just get told to turn, I mean, that's self-explanatory. You listen to ATC when they tell you to do something. Otherwise, you're going to cause collisions. So, yeah, just telling you to listen to ATC, really. These SIDs require minimum climb gradients. And then below is what are the gradients. So they're in percentages, self-explanatory, You've got, so this information here is the SIDs, what SIDs this applies to. So this chart applies to the ASMIN 1 Sierra and ASMIN 1 Zulu SIDs. God, I really can't get my words out today. And they are on runways 5 left and 5 right. And then there's a routing, usually on a chart. It'll just tell you where to route to. All this information is useful. Climb straight ahead at Delta 2.0 MCT. Turn left 298 degrees, as you can see here, 298 degrees. Track towards Exobro, which is this waypoint here, of course. And then turn cross D 6.0 MCT at or above 2,500. Maximum of 5,000, as I just said. It actually tells you on this one, luckily. You need to be at or above 2,500 feet because that's the lowest altitude you can be at. And you can't exceed the highest altitude, which is 5,000 in this case. It actually tells you on the chart, luckily. It doesn't always say that, but it does on this one. And then to say intercept WAL, which is just this waypoint here, right here. That's at the end of the SID. Inbound to ASMIM, cross at 5,000 feet. So you must be at 5,000 for ASMIM, which is shown here. And yeah, so you sometimes get a routing at the bottom of the chart or somewhere in the chart, which helps you out a lot. course, you get the visual representation all over here, but you also get told the routing usually as well, which helps. And yeah, then there's just a bit of information at the top here as well. Just read through that. It's usually self-explanatory what all this means. Yeah. So if you did find this useful, do let me know, and thanks for watching. I do like helping out a lot, so much appreciated, and I enjoy what I do. Thanks for watching.